It was a dark and stormy night when I, Ranger John, received a distress call from the local authorities. The message was garbled, frantic, but one thing was clear. Something was amiss deep within the Blackwood Forest. The forest is usually a tranquil place, a haven for wildlife and hikers alike. But not tonight. Tonight it was the epicenter of an unexplained mystery, a puzzle that sent a shiver of unease down my spine. I could feel a knot of apprehension forming in my stomach, a foreboding sense of dread that I couldn't shake off. But duty called, and I was about to step into the unknown, ready to face whatever lay hidden in the dark heart of the forest. But as I prepared to venture out into the storm, my colleague Joe appeared. Seeing the worry etched on my face, he gave a reassuring smile. "John," he said, "let me take this one." My colleague Joe could see my despair and offered to take this one since he wanted to stretch his legs anyway. As Joe ventured into the dense woods, the tall trees seemed to close in around him, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The mighty sentinels of the forest towered high above, creating a dark canopy that blocked out the moonlight. The wind rustled the leaves, whispering secrets of the forest that were as old as time itself. The sounds of the nocturnal creatures echoed in the distance, their eerie calls only adding to the unsettling atmosphere. With each step, the undergrowth crunched beneath his boots, the only evidence of his passage through the otherwise silent woods. The path was treacherous, littered with fallen branches and hidden pitfalls. But Joe was undeterred, his resolve firm as he ventured deeper into the heart of the unknown. In the distance, the faint sounds of cracking branches reached his ears. The rustling leaves and the soft hoot of an owl were the only companions to his solitude. Yet he felt the presence of unseen eyes watching him, their gaze as cold as the chill that was beginning to creep up his spine. The forest, once familiar, now seemed alien and menacing. The shadows played tricks on his eyes, morphing into grotesque shapes that danced and swirled in the darkness. His flashlight, once a beacon of safety, now seemed barely capable of piercing the inky blackness that surrounded him. The further he ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The air was thick with an unseen energy, a palpable sense of dread that seemed to seep from the very trees themselves. It was as if the forest was alive, its breath heavy and cold against his skin. As the minutes turned into hours, the forest seemed to close in around him. The sense of foreboding grew stronger, weighing heavily on his heart. His instincts screamed at him to turn back, but he pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and a desire to uncover the truth. The path ahead was shrouded in darkness, the unknown lurking just beyond the reach of his flashlight's beam. The trees whispered their warnings, their leaves rustling in the wind like a chorus of spectral voices. But Joe was undeterred, his resolve unwavering even in the face of the unknown. The air grew thick with an unsettling tension, and a sense of foreboding weighed heavily upon him. The forest seemed to hold its breath, waiting and watching as Joe ventured further into the depths of the ominous woods. After what felt like hours, he stumbled upon an ancient, dilapidated cabin. The sight was chilling, a relic of a past time, standing defiantly against the relentless march of time. Its once sturdy structure was now a skeletal frame, weathered and worn by the elements. The cabin, though seemingly abandoned, bore the eerie imprint of its former inhabitants. From the outside, the cabin was a sad, forgotten shell. But as Joe stepped inside, the true extent of its desolation became apparent. The musty scent of decay filled the air, a testament to the years of neglect. The floorboards creaked under his weight, echoing through the silence with a haunting resonance. His flashlight swept over the remnants of what once must have been a cozy living space. A broken chair lay on its side, its splintered legs jutting out like the ribs of a long-dead animal. A table, its surface scarred with age, stood lopsidedly, one leg shorter than the others. As he moved deeper into the cabin, he noticed strange symbols etched into the wooden walls. They were crude, almost primitive, yet they held an air of deliberate intent. They seemed to pulse in the beam of his flashlight, casting eerie shadows that danced and writhed on the ancient wood. His heart pounded in his chest as he traced the symbols with his fingers. They were cold to the touch, colder than the chill air around him. They seemed to hum with an energy that was as old as the forest itself, as if they were a conduit to a realm beyond his comprehension. He felt a chill creep up his spine as he realized that these symbols were not mere carvings. They were a message, a warning perhaps from those who had once called this cabin home. He turned his attention to the shattered windows, their glass long gone, replaced by the cold, unforgiving wind. As he looked out into the darkness, he could not shake off the feeling of being watched, of being an intruder in a place that did not welcome him. Broken furniture lay scattered, and strange symbols adorned the walls. The cabin, it seemed, was a living testament of a forgotten past, a silent witness to stories untold, of lives lived and lost within its walls. As he explored further, a chilling voice echoed through the silence. "Leave this place, Joe," it implored, a spectral whisper that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the cabin. The voice was as cold as the wind that blew outside, yet it held a strange warmth, a familiarity that sent a shiver down his spine. It was as if the voice knew him, knew his fears, his doubts. Yet, it was a voice that he did not recognize, a voice that seemed to belong to the forest itself. Ignoring the warning, he pressed on, his determination outweighing the fear that gnawed at the edges of his mind. He was a park ranger, tasked with the safety of these woods and all who ventured within. He could not allow an unknown voice, no matter how chilling, to deter him from his duty. The voice persisted, its tone growing more urgent with each passing moment. "Go back, Joe," it pleaded. "This is not your world." The words hung heavy in the air, a ghostly refrain that echoed through the cabin. Yet, the more the voice pleaded, the more determined Joe became. He knew he was dealing with a force beyond his understanding, a force that the rational part of his mind screamed to flee from. But curiosity drove him forward, a burning desire to uncover the truth behind this voice, this presence that seemed so intrinsically tied to the forest. The voice fell silent, replaced by an unsettling stillness that seemed to permeate every corner of that cabin. Joe stood alone in the silence, the beam of his flashlight cutting through the darkness. He felt a shiver of anticipation, a sense of foreboding that hinted at the challenges yet to come. Ignoring the warning, he pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the supernatural occurrences. He knew that he was venturing into the unknown, stepping into a world that defied all logic and reason. But he was not about to turn back, not when the answers he sought were just within his grasp. A ghostly figure materialized before him, its eyes gleaming with a malevolent light. It was a spectral apparition, ethereal and yet with a chilling sense of reality. The figure was shrouded in an unearthly mist, its form wavering like a candle flame in the wind. Its presence was palpable, a cold dread that seeped into Joe's very bones. The figure spoke, its voice a raspy whisper that echoed through the cabin. It spun tales of betrayal and tragedy, tales as old as the woods themselves. It spoke of a time when the forest was young and the spirits of the land were worshipped. It told of a betrayal, a sacred covenant broken, and the terrible vengeance that followed. The stories were woven with sorrow and regret, a haunting melody of a time lost to the ages. As the ghostly figure recounted its tales, Joe could do nothing but listen, paralyzed by a fear that gripped him like iron chains. His heart pounded in his chest like a drum, each beat echoing the chilling tales of the spectral figure. The room was filled with an oppressive silence, broken only by the ghost's haunting narrative and the crackling of the dying fire. The figure's eyes bore into Joe, a piercing gaze that seemed to see into the very depths of his soul. It was as if the figure was not just telling its tales, but imparting a warning, a plea to heed the lessons of the past. But Joe was frozen, his mind a whirlwind of terror and confusion. The tales grew darker, the ghost's voice growing more intense. It spoke of a curse, a punishment for the unforgivable betrayal. It spoke of souls trapped in eternal torment, their cries echoing through the forest. The figure's words painted a grim picture of despair and eternal sorrow, a testament to the dire consequences of breaking sacred vows. The stories ended, leaving a heavy silence in their wake. The figure loomed over Joe, its gaze piercing. He could feel the weight of its sorrow, the magnitude of its loss. But above all, he felt fear, a primal terror that left him immobile. He was paralyzed with fear, unable to escape the clutches of the supernatural entity that now confronted him. The ghostly figure, a haunting presence of the past, was a chilling reminder of the price of curiosity and the dangers of delving into the unknown. As the ghostly figure reached out, a blinding light enveloped him, and the world around him disintegrated into a nightmarish void. The ethereal glow was so intense, it seemed to consume everything in its path, leaving nothing but a stark emptiness in its wake. The cabin, the forest, and all semblance of reality were swallowed up in this spectral radiance. Joe could feel the ground beneath him dissolve into nothingness, his body suspended in a limbo between the physical world and the realm of the supernatural. A cold, hollow laughter echoed around him, filling the void with its chilling resonance. It was a sound that spoke of forgotten ages and untold horrors, a sound that would forever be etched into his memory. The laughter grew louder, reverberating through the void and piercing his very soul. It was a cacophony of spectral mockery, a chilling reminder of his ill-fated journey into the heart of the Blackwood Forest. The last thing he heard was the haunting laughter echoing in the abyss, a cruel reminder that some mysteries are better left undiscovered. To this day, the legend of Ranger Joe in the Blackwood Forest serves as a cautionary tale among those who dare to tread into the realm of the unknown. It's a chilling reminder of the risks taken when curiosity overrides caution, when the veil between our world and the spectral plane is recklessly pierced. It tells us that some shadows are best left unexplored, some whispers left unanswered. The woods hold secrets that defy explanation, and those who seek to unravel them may find themselves ensnared in a terrifying fate. Dive into the abyss of the dark and mysterious, a realm teeming with gruesome goodies designed to make your stomach churn and toes curl. The Amazon affiliate link, waiting in the description, is your ticket to this world. Don't hesitate, explore the unexplored. Who knows, you might just find your new obsession. And so, our tale of the Campfire Horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The Campfire Horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So, if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us. Until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.